It's the shortest letter that the Apostle Paul ever wrote.
Just 335 words in the original Greek.
Yeah, you can read it in, what, a minute?
Mm.
But when you look at the sources, you get this feeling that it's not just a letter. It's a ticking time bomb for social ethics.
It really is. I mean, on the surface, it looks like a simple memo about a domestic problem, a runaway slave.
But underneath all that, Paul is actually dismantling the entire economic logic of the Roman Empire.
Mm.
And what's so fascinating is that the detonator for that bomb is all packed into one single, really complex sentence. Verse 6.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack how a prisoner used one sentence about fellowship to subvert slavery.
And then see how that same logic, and this is the amazing part, how it offers a kind of cure for modern imposter syndrome.
So to get there, you have to understand the context. The stakes are incredibly high.
Right. We're in first century Colossae, a city that was physically unstable, literally prone to massive earthquakes.
And that physical instability really reflects the social tension. You have the main players. First, Philemon. He's a wealthy patron, hosts a church in his villa, his domus.
Then you have Onesimus.
Philemon's slave. But more than that, he's a fugitivus, a runaway.
And that's basically a death sentence in the first century.
Yeah.
Legally, Onesimus isn't even a person. He's a res, a thing.
Exactly. So by running away, he has effectively stolen himself from his master. If he gets caught, he could be branded with an F on his forehead.
Or sent to the mines, or just crucified.
So when he finds Paul in prison and converts, the stakes are life and death, and Paul sends him back. But he doesn't send a legal defense or an apology.
No, he sends this letter asking Philemon to welcome him back, not as property, but as a brother.
And verse 6 is the lever he pulls to make that happen.
That the sharing of your faith may become effective by the acknowledgement of every good thing which is in you in Christ Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
There are two huge Greek words doing all the work here.
The first is Koinonia,
which we almost always translate as fellowship.
Right. And today that just sounds like, coffee and donuts in the church basement.
But the sources are clear that in the first century, Koinonia was a commercial term.
A business partnership, a joint participation in risk, like a shared bank account. Paul is framing faith as a joint venture. He's telling this wealthy master, you and this slave, you're now partners. You share the same spiritual equity.
And he wants that partnership to become effective. The Greek there is energos.
Where we get our word energy.
It has to be productive.
Yeah, Paul is basically saying that faith can't just be theoretical. If your faith can't handle the social friction of forgiving the property that stole from you, well, then it's not working. It's not energos.
This also gets at that common question, why didn't Paul just demand the abolition of slavery?
Well, a slave revolt would have been suicidal, politically impossible, so he goes for something smarter.
Theological subversion.
Exactly. If Onesimus is a beloved brother, the whole ontology of slavery, its very being, just crumbles. You can't own a partner. You can't own your brother.
Yeah. The system breaks from the inside out. Right. Now, this is the pivot that I think is so valuable for us today. The sources draw a direct line from this ancient social dynamic to modern anxiety.
Specifically to imposter syndrome.
Yeah, and the connection is through that word acknowledgement in verse 6. The Greek is epignosis,
which means a full, deep, experiential knowledge. Paul is praying that Philemon's faith becomes effective through the epignosis, the full acknowledgement of every good thing in him.
It's like taking an inventory of grace. When you and I deal with imposter syndrome, we're almost always working from a mindset of scarcity. We're focused on the status we haven't earned or the intelligence we think we lack.
A deficit model, yeah. And the Philemon fix is basically a cognitive reframing. Paul is telling Philemon and us to stop looking at what you lack and start acknowledging the treasury of grace that's already deposited in your account.
So Philemon doesn't need to exert power over a slave to feel secure, and we don't need to fake it till we make it.
Precisely. You don't need to earn your status. You just need to realize, to make real what's already there. Philemon can afford to forgive Onesimus because he acknowledges how spiritually rich he already is.
He's operating from a full bank account. It's a mechanism that just levels all these hierarchies, not just between a master and a slave, but between the version of yourself that feels like a fraud and the reality of who you are.
It reminds us that the CEO and the janitor, in this view, share the same spiritual DNA.
Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to walk away with.
If faith is defined as koinonia, a partnership, are you an active partner with your spiritual capital? Or are you just hoarding the good things that were actually meant to be shared?
Something to think about. Thanks for diving in with us.